Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for your question. Yes, narcissism is kind of a buzzword now. There's more research going into narcissistic personality disorders as well as its relationship to violence and control. For instance, Psychology Today reported on a study that included 437 studies from around the world, and narcissism showed up as an important risk factor for both aggression and violence. And they stated that, in fact, the link between narcissism and aggression was identified in all dimensions of narcissism with various types of aggression. So the word narcissism comes from a Greek myth in which the character Narcissus falls in love with his own image as reflected in the calm water. He comes to show disdain and contempt for those who fall in love with him. And it's identified by an excessive sense of self-importance, with a key factor being entitlement, right? And this is according to Psychology Today. The two components of narcissism include grandiosity, with an overblown self-esteem, and vulnerability, with low self-esteem, but still holding beliefs of being more important than others. And both types are found to be linked to aggression. The types of aggression include physical, verbal, and bullying, either direct or indirect. So to answer your question, yes, narcissism is related to domestic violence. Domestic violence in and itself is also an act of power, right? It's not only violent and abuse, but it's a quest for power and to make the other person feel less than, which typically fits in with a narcissistic personality disorder. Psychology Today goes on to say that the grandiose type of narcissist, they don't feel bad, right? If they hurt you, if they're violent, they don't feel bad about it, right? Some have hypothesized that it's developed as a defense against a deep shame that keeps them from feeling good. And it says that the same grandiosity can come from growing up with parents who provided false empowerment. And that's that word power again, right? Empowerment. And not a loving attachment. In either way, a courtship with a grandiose narcissist usually involves love bombing, which is excessive attention, affection, flattering, compliments, too soon and too much. And narcissists are also known for manipulating relationships and people, right? They seem to be a perfect partner, but in time you find out that they're not. And one of their main goals is to seek admiration, kind of like a worship type of admiration, right? So it's a bad situation all the way around. And the person that you're involved with, I'm assuming is your wife or a sister or a mother. If they don't get treated, it could get even worse. And with that said, it's kind of difficult to treat narcissism. Although there are treatments for it, it's kind of difficult, but it's not impossible. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that if you are experiencing violence from anyone, you mentioned that you're a victim of domestic abuse, you should not stay in the relationship. You should leave. Allah did not create you to be abused, to be mistreated, to be oppressed, and it's definitely not healthy for you mentally either. And your life is at risk. So I kindly suggest, brother, that you do reach out to your imam at the masjid, or reach out to a community center or a crisis hotline if needed for domestic violence, and make a plan of action to leave. It might not be convenient, it might not be conducive for your life if you're working or you have children, but it is very, very critical that you do leave, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous for you to remain. If you have children, it's, dangerous for them as well, obviously. So please, brother, do reach out. Try to find some supports in the area where you live, and get out of the situation. It might be like a separation for a while until you can figure out what you really truly want to do, and if that person is willing to get help. But again, it can be challenging to treat. So I kindly suggest, that you do, follow up with some action plans. Make sure that it's a safe one, right? Because sometimes when you're in a situation of domestic violence and the other person knows that you're planning to leave, the violence escalates. So if you do get to the point where you are going to leave, which inshallah I hope that you do, please cover your tracks. If you're doing research on the internet, erase your browsing history, erase the cookies. Don't keep phone numbers like to domestic violence crisis services on your phone. Just find a way that you can do it where, the person will not find out. And lastly, these organizations that I speak of, like the domestic violence hotline and community centers and counselors, they can help you make a plan to leave. And if you have family in the area, I kindly suggest, if you have a close relationship with them, that you do tell them what's going on and seek their support as well. And most importantly, too, is stay close to Allah and pray for safety. Ask Allah to cover you and any children that you may have, and ask for His help in your plans to leave and to rectify the situation. And inshallah, once you've left this situation, get counseling so you can start on the path of healing. We wish you the best.